All right, let's talk about one of the biggest conversations happening right now, artificial intelligence in our schools. There's a lot of confusion out there, but drawing on some amazing insights from the Toddle AI NYC Meetup, we're going to cut through that noise. We're going from chaos to clarity. Let's get into it.
So what's really happening on the ground in schools today? Well, for the most part, it's exactly that, chaos. A lot of schools are trapped between two extremes. They either ban AI outright, or they take this wait-and-see approach. And honestly, neither one works. It just creates this messy patchwork of uneven use, a whole lot of fear, and it winds up leaving everyone, students and teachers, behind.
And here's the thing, we have to get this right, because our students are not waiting for us to figure it out. Get this, OpenAI says 40% of all ChatGPT users are under 25. 40%. That means millions of kids are already out there sailing this huge new digital ocean. But a lot of them are doing it without a map, a compass, or a guide. And please, let's not pretend this is some far-off problem for a future-ready committee to solve down the road. Nope. As educator Stacey Hawthorne puts it so perfectly, this is about the kids who are sitting in our classrooms right now. The challenge isn't coming, it's here, and it's urgent. This really gets to the heart of the matter. There's a huge, and I mean massive, gap between how much students use AI and how well they understand it. Just because they can get a chatbot to write an essay doesn't mean they know how to use it safely or ethically or in a way that actually helps them become better thinkers. Closing that gap, that's our job. So, how do we even begin to fix this mess? Well, according to the folks on the front lines, it's not about buying more software or fancy new apps. It all starts with a big pivot, a fundamental shift in our mindset.
You know, for decades, education is basically run like a train on a fixed track. That's the predictive approach. It's standardized, pre-planned, and if you fall off the track, well, good luck. But AI gives us the power to switch to an agile approach. This is more like a GPS. It's centered on the user, it adapts based on feedback, and it can find a different route if you need one. It's built for the person, not the system.
And a truly great AI strategy isn't just about plugging in the technology. It's about finding that perfect sweet spot, that beautiful intersection between your school's unique mission, your core teaching philosophy, and what the technology can actually do. When those three things align, that's when the magic happens.
Okay, a new mindset is great, but talk is cheap, right? How do you actually do it? How do you go from theory to action? Well, thankfully, there's a practical roadmap that any school, any district can follow. The experts have broken it down into 4 clear steps. First, you build a team, and this is so important. You gather evidence, you listen. Then you align on a shared vision. Step 3, you create a plan to teach AI literacy to everyone. And finally, you develop clear, practical guidelines. It's a simple, powerful path from confusion to real intentional progress. And you can see here how this isn't just an idea. It's a concrete plan that can be mapped out over a school year. It takes this huge, intimidating challenge and breaks it down into manageable chunks from the fall right through to the summer. Suddenly, it feels possible. Now, about that first step, gathering evidence, you absolutely cannot skip it. Why? Because what you think people are worried about is probably wrong. Check this out. In one survey, the #1 fear among teachers wasn't cheating, it was their own job security. And for students, their biggest worry was that other kids were cheating. Wild, right? You can't build a plan if you don't know what's really on people's minds.
Okay, so let's say you do the hard work. You listen, you plan, you build a vision. What's the payoff? What's the actual promise when this is done right inside a classroom? This is the really exciting part.
How about this for a payoff? 6 weeks. That's the amount of time teachers can get back when they use AI effectively. Not once, every single school year. Just let that sink in for a moment. 6 full weeks. That isn't just a small improvement. That's a game changer for teacher burnout and well-being.
And you're probably asking, where does all that magical time come from? Well, it's not magic. It comes from automating the soul-crushing grunt work, making worksheets, creating assessments, and chipping away at that endless mountain of administrative tasks. Imagine what our teachers could do with all that time back.
But this is so much more than just efficiency. For students, this is where it gets really powerful. See, AI is amazing at the bottom levels of learning, remembering facts, basic comprehension. And by handling that, it frees up our kids' human brains for the really cool stuff at the top, analyzing, evaluating, creating. AI is not a replacement for thinking. It's a launchpad for higher-level thinking.
And the research on this is crystal clear. The most important factor isn't the AI tool itself, it's how it's used. One incredible study found that using AI as a guided tutor with the teacher's help had more than twice the positive impact of traditional teaching methods. The key is right there. Guided use amplifies outcomes.
Of course, all this incredible promise comes with some very real responsibility. We can't have an honest conversation about AI without looking directly at the fears, the risks, and the potential for harm. We need to set up some guardrails.
So let's just ask the question that is and should be on everyone's mind. What about the risks? Because moving forward blindly isn't an option.
And these risks are serious. We're talking about things like cognitive offload, which is a fancy way of saying students stop thinking for themselves. Or artificial companionship, where kids form unhealthy attachments to chatbots. And that's before we even get to algorithmic bias, deepfakes, and the tsunami of misinformation. These are the dragons our students have to learn to slay.
So how do we arm them for that fight? We give them a simple, powerful tool. This is the SEE framework, and it is brilliant. It teaches students to ask themselves 3 quick questions before they use AI. Am I using this safely? Am I using it effectively for my learning? And am I using it ethically? Safe, effective, ethical. It's a mental checklist that can guide them through this complex new world.
So let's zoom out one last time. When we put all these pieces together, the mindset, the roadmap, the promise, the guardrails, what's the end game? What is the ultimate vision we should be striving for? I think this quote from the late, great Sir Ken Robinson says it all. We will know we've succeeded when we're using these tools to focus on the process of learning, the curiosity, the struggle, the creativity, instead of just the final product. That's the goal. That's the whole point. Because at the end of the day, that's all AI is. It's a tool. A powerful one, sure, but it has no vision. It has no values. It has no heart. So the real question isn't about the technology. The real question is about us. How will we choose to use these new tools to build a more curious, more creative, and more human future?